True.
Very good. Do you want to say more about that? What were those calls like?
At some point, we have to bring it to Agentforce and...
We really don't, actually. This is better than that. We've been talking about that for days.
We're
already on board the Agentforce phenomenon. We got that. But this is more interesting. The girlfriend, the wife, the phone calls, freezing in Palo Alto.
I definitely didn't expect all of this. So.
Bathing in the Pacific Ocean.
Which I only did it once, by the way. Super cold, still haven't quite gotten used to it. Where are we? No, look, I mean...
But no, I think it's important that we talk. First of all, you can see we have a great connection, number one. But number two, this is the Sundar I know. So that's what I'm trying to do. I think a lot, like I said, on my ride in, I was just thinking to myself, a lot of people, they just don't have the opportunity to realize the person that I know so well, your heart, your life, your connection. And, now, okay, so anyway, let's just get back to the story. You're in Stanford now, right? And now all of a sudden you kind of see this new world, and it is a different world. You are in Palo Alto. It's not just cold. There's a whole thing going on, right? And so what is your biggest surprise now that you're in Palo Alto besides the weather?
Oh, I mean, look, I think, we take this for granted in the Valley and in a place like Stanford. And, America is truly a land of opportunity in a way that phrase, I think very few people really understand, it deeply. And it's extraordinary. You can come here and, if you're willing to work hard, pursue your dreams, anything is possible, right? And it was kind of obvious to me once I came in, if you're passionate about something, you meet other people who are passionate about it. This is a place of dreamers and builders. You're excited about something, people want to build on that idea. It's almost like they want to compose that with you. That is so unique about the place we live in. And so that struck me. So, this optimism, this real desire to make the world better, and sometimes we all are so used to it. Sometimes I think, we get jaded with technology or something, we forget that. I feel it now when I travel around the world and you go to places where they don't have access to this technology, they so want to be a part of it. Here we have it, right? And I think we've gone through these waves, but that is the essence of this place, I think. And you brought it back to this is the theater in which Steve Jobs did some of those, path-breaking announcements. But I think that's the spirit of this place. I felt it at Stanford, and I feel it today.
So now here you are, you're feeling it. You are connected to the energy of Silicon Valley, the magic of what's happening. Stanford, kind of the heart of it all, near the garages where these great companies have started, like HP, like Apple. You're starting to meet these cast of characters. It's like going to Disneyland, right? You're meeting Donald Duck. You're meeting Mickey Mouse in person for the first time. And now you're in Stanford, and are you at this point thinking, okay, I heard about this company, Google, it's 2004, this is where I'm heading? Is that the direction at this point?
I was in Stanford in the 90s, and this was the time when Mosaic Mosaic had launched. And ironically, I think Larry and Sergey were at Stanford at the same time. I don't think I knew them, or we didn't overlap.
You didn't know them at the time?
No, I didn't know them at the time. I was focused on different things. I was very interested in semiconductors. That was my area of research. That's what I was working on. I was so excited to have access to all that. I almost didn't realize there was this thing called the internet which was happening. So, but, a few years later, had the chance to get to know a few people. And when the internet was really taking off, when I started using Google early, and the first time I started using it, I realized this is going to give more access to information to more people.
This must be what, 96, 97, 98?
No, Google wasn't there. Google started in 99. I first used it in about 2000, right? 2000, 2001. Right. but I could instantly feel like you have this thing which is going to give access to technology to more people than anything before. You could use it, you could feel it. The fact that...
And where was that first time that you used Google in 2001? Where were you?
I was still in Palo Alto, but I was like working in the semiconductor industry. It's interesting to see back as we are going through this moment in AI, everything is coming back to chips, which turns out to be might be the real driver of intelligence, right? And it's not an accident that Google works on TPUs too, right? So it all comes back full circle. But that's the context in which I use. But it's just that when I used it, I instantly felt like this is where I want to be, and spoke to some people, ended up at Google, and soon started working on Chrome. Yeah.
And you went to Google, it was about 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
So 2004, so you've transitioned now from semiconductors.
Yes.
What semiconductor company were you at? I actually don't know.
For a long time, I was at Applied Materials.
At Applied Materials.
Yeah.
So you're at a great company, Applied Materials.
Yeah.
And now you've decided to go from Applied Materials, semiconductors, to the internet with Google. And you go, that's a pretty big leap, actually, from semiconductors to the browser.
Look, I wanted to be closer to, when you're working in the semiconductor industry, sometimes you can feel far removed from the people. I wanted to be much closer to where technology was impacting people. And so I wanted to be closer to the consumer. And that's the chance with Google. 2004 was about the time in which you had the web was changing from just content pages to real rich applications. This was Web 2.0. It was Ajax. Gmail had launched. Google Maps, Flickr. You could really see the web evolve. You were pioneering software as a service too at the time. I mean, look, all of this was coming together. And
we were 5 years into Salesforce at that time.
Yeah.
Actually, we're going public, and Google was going public in 2004. Now, actually, you mention it, Google and Salesforce both went public that year, 2004.
That's right. I went back and looked. Our first partnership, I wasn't involved, between Google and Salesforce was 2007.
Yeah.
That was the first contract I could
That's
find.
not the first partnership. The first partnership was, I was presenting, ahead of our IPOs, and Larry and Sergey were in the front row. And I was presenting on our product strategy, but I also presented on our 1-1-1 model.
Yeah.
Which is the 1% equity, 1% profit, 1% time. And Larry and Sergey came up to me afterwards and they said, you know what? We're going to do that too. And we're going to create Google.org, and we're going to do the 1% also. And I want to thank them for that, and thank you, and thank Google for that, because it created a huge foundation with a huge amount of good. Yeah. And that was the very first time I had met Larry and Sergey, and it was an incredible moment. So, and just at that moment, you were kind of coincidentally joining Google.
That's right. And
so was it before the IPO or after?
I think I joined, the IPO happened like 3 weeks later.
Fantastic. So they joined, you joined, the company is going public.
That's right.
Now, is it at that point, who was CEO at that point? Was it Eric or Larry?
It's Eric. Yeah.
Eric. And is that when you said to Eric, I'm going to take your job, Eric?
The thing I did recall, it was in 2004, around 2006 is when, the thing with Eric, I still remember that. Me and a few others, we wanted to build a browser. And Eric had gone through the browser wars before. Was super familiar with it. I remember vividly Eric telling us, are you crazy? You know what it takes to build a browser? We're not building a browser. We still did it anyway, but he was super generous. And once we kind of bootstrapped a browser, a small team, and then we demoed it to him and Larry Sergey. And once he saw how good it was, he became one of the biggest supporters of it. But that's how Eric and I interacted. Yeah.
All right. Well, now you're squarely at Google, and it's a storied career for the next 21 years, from starting on this kind of incredible team that built the marquee browser Chrome all the way to today as the CEO. Reflecting on that, 2 decades, what is your thought across this arc from South India now to this leadership journey at Google?
Look, I think technology is one of the biggest enablers we know, right? It drives innovation at a fundamental level. If anything, that journey is accelerating, right?